Hi everyone, so you might be thinking, why the hell are you laying down? And the answer to that is, I'm very lazy. I'm having my lazy day. Actually, I've been having a lazy week ever since I finished my semester for my second year. Yeah, if you didn't know, I finished my second year of university. Great. Okay, so I guess I just want to share how my second year of university went. If you don't know, I am currently pursuing my major in computing science. Yes, computing science, not computer science. I don't know why my university is very unique about that for some reason. Well, how was my second year of university? Um, well, yikes. It was rough, not gonna lie. During the fall semester, I took two computing science courses as well as a statistics course and linear algebra. And yeah, it was a lot more work than I anticipated, especially statistics. We had to like write lab reports, and those took forever to write. Not to mention, each of them were like less than 2%, which was completely ridiculous. But towards the end, I did really well, so I'm very happy about that. Linear algebra, I had a really good teacher, so yeah, I just really like her way of teaching, and I thought I did pretty well. So statistics and linear algebra went better than I expected. The two computing science courses, however, I don't think they were that good. The first one introduced logics, and my goodness, I thought that at the beginning it was going to be really straightforward because we were looking at logic gates and binary numbers and stuff like that, like very very simple stuff. But then when it came to the more math heavy topics such as induction, strong induction, and the pigeonhole principle, and all of that, and reflexivity, transitivity, all of that, it just became very overwhelming and very complicated, and I was just like, I'm not enjoying this. And well, I ended up getting the average of the class, which is fine, but it made me realize, and I obviously could have done better, but I guess that was like the introduction of how math heavy this degree was gonna be. The other compute course that I took focused on programming methodologies, and we started using C. Not gonna lie, at the beginning, when we were just learning how to use the language, I thought it was gonna be really easy, and then out of nowhere, it just became super, super complicated and overwhelming, and it was just pretty bad. Okay, do you know how bad it was? The average of the third assignment was so low. It was even less than 50%. I think it was like around 40-something%. It was ridiculous. It was unbelievably difficult, and I didn't really have a lot of time. I don't know. It seems that at this point I was just dealing with a lot of things, and not to mention I had a part-time job at that time, so it kind of sucked because it was one of the first times where I was doing really bad on the computing science course, and that never really happened to me, and it was just like a wake-up call where I was like, holy shit, I need to do better. Like, I actually need to like get my shit together. I do that every semester though, so I don't know if I'm actually making an improvement or not. Oh, so yeah, that was basically my fall experience. It went okay. I guess statistics and linear algebra saved my GPA. I didn't do well on the class that I wanted to do well, so that's a shame. I was expecting that during the winter semester I would do a lot better, and I was going to be able to redeem myself by taking courses that I was actually interested in taking. I was taking databases, image processing, and algorithms. Okay, to be honest, I was not too excited about taking algorithms, but the other two classes I was like, actually really looking forward to taking. But at the same time, taking 3 computer science courses is not really recommended by the university because it's a lot of work. But then I was like, let's just see what happens. And then on top of that, I would also take psychology and calculus because I needed to take calculus. It's, calculus too, so we're going to learn stuff like integration, trigonometric substitution, and partial fractions, integration by parts, and stuff like that. So, I was like very much looking forward to that. So yeah, interestingly, at the beginning, I was struggling with databases, but I was doing really well in psychology. But then I was more interested in databases than in psychology, and I was like, that's not really working out. So in the end, I had to sacrifice psychology to do well in my comp sci courses. And in the end, I ended up getting a very low grade in psychology. But at least I passed, and it wasn't like low, 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 but it wasn't like an extraordinarily good grade. Here's the thing, I'm not like a straight A student or anything like that. I wish I was, that would be great, but I'm not. I'm like more of a B student. I mean, here's the thing, right? My average is always gonna end up being around a B or a B plus. If I get an A, I'm always gonna get like a C plus or something. But if I don't get an A, or get a C, I'm always gonna have B's, and it's just gonna average out. So it's a little bit infuriating, isn't it? But it shows that I might be good at some areas, but bad at other areas. Part of me kind of wishes that I took something else instead of psychology. Don't get me wrong, I think psychology is really, really interesting, but I think I would have done better in, I don't know, something else like in econ, or maybe taking another language. I don't really know. I think the issue that I have at this point is that whenever I think and look back on how I did overall, it seems that I always have thoughts like, man, I wish I did this instead, or I wish I did this instead. And it's just really infuriating how I never get to be satisfied with the choices that I make. And I tend to be really horrified on having to make decisions, which is why I am very indecisive. But in the end, whenever I make a choice, or if I don't make a choice, I always regret it to a degree. Yikes, that sounds very sad. Oops. Oh, I guess I didn't talk more about the courses more in depth. So yeah, databases, that was really interesting. So we basically learned how to use SQL, and we were learning about how to write queries, and knowing more about the structure, conceptual and the physical schema, theory of decomposition, stuff like that. So I think it was really interesting to see how everything worked and how data is ideally organized in. I thought that was pretty cool. The other course that I took, which I was really, really looking forward to, was image processing, and we basically learned how every pixel worked and things like that. And I thought that was really cool. And then in the end, we even got to learn a little bit about deep learning, and I was like, this is really interesting, actually. The lab was a little bit like, what the hell is happening? If it wasn't for the TA, I don't think I would have done that well on that lab assignment, because my god, I didn't know what I was doing. Regardless, I thought it was pretty interesting, and I started watching some videos about how neural networks and stuff worked, and I was like, this is really cool, so I should probably get into that. And yeah, algorithms. Gotta say, I hated that course, not gonna lie. Which is disappointing in my part, because I do acknowledge that it is a very important part of computing science in general, because you kind of want to know the algorithms really well and try to appreciate sorting algorithms and, time complexities. And I do acknowledge that it's extremely important, but having to delve into that and knowing about graph theories and all of that, it was just very overwhelming. But I wish I had more enthusiasm towards that course, but for some reason I wasn't really feeling it. Maybe I was just overwhelmed with the amount of classes that I was taking, because 3 comp-sci courses in addition to calculus and psychology all at the same time. I was afraid that I was gonna fail one of the courses, which thankfully I didn't. It's good. I'm very thankful for that. So that course was rough. Do not get me even started with those assignments, because those took me forever, and each of those assignments was worth 8% of the total grade. I guess based on the amount of effort that I put, I was able to do really well, but in the final I did so bad. So from being shockingly above average from the class, I went all the way down to slightly below average, so that gave me a B. But in the end I was like, I'll take it. I'll take that. Alright. I'll do that. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good way of condensing my experience in my second year. It was definitely more challenging than my first year, considering that the course load was a lot more. Not to mention the material was more challenging. Not only that, but having to deal with other responsibilities and my emotions and all of that, which I'm probably not gonna get into that. Yeah, let's not go. Yeah, no. It's fine. But I don't know, one thing I noticed during my second year, especially during the winter semester, was that I was really doubting myself what the concept was for me, and I was very shocked because, I don't know, I've always been very enthusiastic about wanting to learn more about technology, because I was always so fascinated about it. But the fact that I was so burnt out and didn't really want to pursue that anymore, I think that was a very scary prospect. I mean, I was pretty stressed out. I was pretty overwhelmed, and then when the semester finished, I was completely dead. Holy shit. During my last exam, I think it was algorithms. But yeah, I thought that I was gonna be completely burnt out, and I was like, oh god, what if I don't like the degree? But for some reason, a few days after I finished my exam, where I was just literally dead like a zombie, laying down, just sleeping for more than 8 hours and completely fucking up my sleeping schedule. I was oddly enthusiastic about learning more for some reason. And I had this weird urge to start developing apps, even though I haven't used Java for like a very, very long time, but I still have that desire to create stuff. So I was like, maybe I don't hate comp sci. Hopefully during my third year, it's gonna be more optimistic. I think it's gonna be pretty bad, but you know, like in terms of the workload, of course it's gonna be stressful, but you know, it's something that I wanted to do, which is weird. I guess it's when I have like spare time, I'm like, oh, this seems like fun, and I just kind of want to go into it. It seems that if I don't have any pressure or stress, I will pursue it. And if I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed, then I probably wouldn't want to do anything about that. So yeah, I was in a terrible mind state at that point where I have like a lot of things going on in my life and it's just not fun. So yeah, I apologize for not looking at the camera as much, but I still hope that this was an enjoyable video regardless. I don't know, I thought it was pretty nice for me to just talk. I'm just hoping that this was an entertaining video. You didn't really necessarily have to like watch the entire thing. You could have sped it up. I don't really know how you watch videos in general, but there's no judgment, okay? There's no judgments this channel. Everything is okay. Everything is good. So yeah, I think I should end the video right here before I go off to a weird tangent. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can give it a like. Let me know if you liked this video where I just lay down, or if I made you uncomfortable, then I'm very sorry. You can leave that in the comments. But yeah, I hope that all of you have an amazing day, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye! I have to get up and turn off the camera. Alright. Oh god. Oh, that was too much work.